in our east-facing front window. You can see how good they look. They are in actual fact going to be transplanted tomorrow into the Dutch bucket system that I have to finish off today, and you'll see a little bit of that later on. I've come up with a way to be able to use some of the buckets that had different drainage systems in them from last year so that we can use them this year and they're not wasted. Here's a close-up of some of the plants. It is the best season we've ever had with this setup, with growing our tomato seedlings, germinating the seeds and growing the plants. I'm very, very happy with it. These are the tomato plants that I planted into the Dutch bucket system yesterday. They've already been fed this morning, fed with nutrient. They're looking all right. They don't seem to have experienced very much transplant shock. They're all very tall seedlings, the ones that we grew up in the front window of the house. Those two there are the last ones I put in yesterday. They're not quite as good as the other ones. Some of them are looking exceptionally good. There's a good one there, and this one over the back here seems to be coming along very nicely. And that's the last one that I planted yesterday. Alright, now I'm going to show you how I plant the seedlings into the Dutch buckets. I brought a Dutch bucket in with clean scoria in it. I'm going to tip a fair bit of that out. Move that aside. Just cut a piece off the drain pipe there, it's a little bit too deep. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use a net pot. We're going to put it over the top of the drainer there, and that just sits there like so. I'll put some scoria in to hold it in place. Now I'll empty some more scoria into this bucket and fill it up a bit more. Right, what we do now, we have a look to see, that's the hole that the 4mm poly feeder line's going to go in, and that hole there, and that one over there, is where we put some jute twine so that we can support that in there. Turn it around. That's so we can support the plant while it's growing. We need about that much and so that much. I'm going to put this bit of twine in place first, tie it down, and then we can put a plant in. But this is a bit tricky to get done when the scoria is in there. Right, next we select the plants we want to put in. We'll put a double in on this one. You can see how well the roots of these tomato plants have developed, planted in cocoa peat and into 2-inch mesh pots. We'll position it on the top and push it down until the top of the pot is pretty much level with the top of the Dutch bucket. Then we start to fill in around the side of the plant. All the way around, top and bottom, keeping our twine out of the road, a little bit more. And that's what we've got on the bench. We're now going to put the bucket into the system, and I'll show you how I do that. Right, now we've got our pot here. What we've got to do, that 13mm pipe there goes into that hole there. So we have to align that. It's a bit tricky, but it slots in easily. Now we find where our 4mm feed line goes, that one. So we just spin it round like so, and then take our feed line, put it in through the hole. Being careful of the plants we've got in there, and that will then just sit there. Now the next thing we do, we're going to tie some twine onto this piece of twine that we've got here. I'll put the first one up, then I'll come back and do another one and show you how we tie it at the top. This twine is what the plant will grow up during its growth period when it's got its fruit on, so it has to be pretty secure. Alright, I'll start another one down the bottom for the second plant, because we've got two of them there. Get that tied up. There we go. Now we go up one of these hooks up here, come down about that amount on the twine, cut it, and then feed it through the loop up here 3 times, and then tie it off. That'll keep it pretty tight. So that's got that. Now we'll come back to the Dutch bucket again, and there we go. Now you can see the 2 plants that I've just planted there. Last thing we do, we take 2 of these clips and put the clip onto the upright piece of twine. Before you close it, put the plant in and clip it, and it stays there. Now we'll do the other one on the other side. That holds it nice and tight, and as the plant grows up the line up here, it continues to get these clips put on it as it goes up the line, like so, and that supports the plant with all the weight of fruit on it. Right, back to the plants. Now the last thing we do, we give them some nutrient. We feed them some nutrient because they've come straight out from inside. The weather hasn't been particularly good, so we haven't been able to harden the plants up. We normally put them outside in the barn for about a fortnight and toughen the plants up a little bit. The bases get a lot firmer and stronger, but we haven't been able to do that this year because of the weather. And that's how I put the plants in. So we'll see there, we'll just have a quick spin round and we'll see what we're looking at. And there we go. I'll do another 4 and put them in, then we'll have a look at them all in their Dutch bucket. That's the rows of Dutch buckets freshly planted with our new tomato seedlings. We've had a metre of scoria delivered sitting in the driveway, so Georgie will be washing that tomorrow while I'm cleaning up the rest of the pots and planting the tomato seedlings. As you can see that tomorrow, or by Sunday, we're going to have a rather nice display of greenery in here.